you're hitting the right spots. And I
Yes.
think for me, like plant rants are, let me tell you what not only I've been hearing in the streets that is wild, but also the things that I know we all relate on, like, and we can agree. Fiddly figs be fiddling sometimes, man. Like, hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Inside Hilton's Head. It is great to be with all of you. Great to be with my friend here, Mollie Lee. And I want to first say, please follow the podcast if you haven't already, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can continue to watch us and know when we have new episodes out. And thank you to all of you who have already followed, have left some nice reviews, and have subscribed to, yes, the YouTube channel. Today, you might not be aware of this. If you're listening, if you're watching this, I am dressed in my Bad Hilton costume.
I don't know why that's in quotes, because that's just your alter ego.
That is my alter ego. Some say it's just me.
Yeah.
It's just stay bad.
True Hilton.
The true Hilton is Bad Hilton. But Bad Hilton is a individual who decided to start ranting. So today's episode is all about plant rants.
Plant rant.
Yeah, Mollie, you've been familiar with the Plant Rant series.
Correct. It's been a personal favorite of mine, especially as someone who worked in the plant industry. It really resonates with me, a lot of the rants that you have.
Okay.
And I think for the folks who don't know what plant rants are, you should tell them a little bit.
That's great. I mean, that makes sense. Yes, of course. There might be some of you who don't know. Look at me. I'm just, you know,
you're like, everyone knows me. Everyone knows my plant rants. Everyone knows Bad Hilton.
Go fuck yourself. There it is. There he is.
Don't edit that out.
There he is.
When I need to sue him one day, I'll have this.
I'll send Bad Hilton to represent me in court. Plant rants. Plant rants basically started out of the need to my need to express myself in a different way than I had been via social. Now, I will say a lot of the rants that have been put out there in the past were all generated based on questions I would get from either people in my life or through DMs. Now, I will say, if you don't understand what the rants are, it's basically me behind my, or is Bad Hilton, let's say, behind his desk, surrounded by plants. And he's always doing something with a plant, whether he's cleaning it, he's repotting it, he's doing something. And our friend, Ryan, who is also the producer of this podcast, also the social media manager on the team here, he would have some of these questions as well. And it just,
so Ryan started the origin story?
I will say low key some of them, but I would exaggerate these questions. He wasn't a true novice. He's still very green.
Yeah.
Let's say when it comes to plants, but these are questions that I would say a lot of individuals who don't know a lot about plants would ask.
Right.
So I would make Ryan almost that butt of the joke where he would start it off. Questions like, can I put milk on my leaves? Right? Something.
No one's stopping you, bro.
Something that nothing's stopping him from doing that. If you are someone who puts milk on your leaves, do you?
Yeah, do you?
Do you? I'm not here to shame you. This is a no judgment zone. But Bad Hilton
is not a no judgment zone.
That's not a no Hilton. Plant rants are not, they're all judgment, right? And so answering those questions in real life, regular Hilton in real life, is always a part of me that wants to go, what are you talking about? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Why would you even do that to a plant? Is that how a plant lives in the wild? Is that how you consider treating the things that you care for, you love? And I would get really inside, but the more normal version of myself, the tender side of myself, would say it in a more sweet way, right? And
more
it would
like educational way.
More educational, more just like, hey, look, it's I understand that you consider that or do that. Like the idea of people putting ice on their orchids.
Right.
But that might not be the best thing you should do.
Right.
So in these rants, I basically lead just like a Sour Patch Kid.
Yeah.
First I'm sour, then I'm sweet, right? So I'll give you a lot of the and then I'll sweetly tuck you into bed and kiss you goodnight.
Which you do still leave with like a bit of information that you maybe have not known before
For
through
sure.
your rant. It's not just like, I'm going to harp on you.
No. I don't want to make people feel bad, which I will say. There was a lot. When I first started on the Plant Rants, a lot of comments as I don't like this side of you.
Really?
I prefer the more tender, kinder version of you. So that's how actually Bad Hilton came about.
Oh, to like disassociate yourself
a little bit, because I was like, look, the idea that you like whatever version you saw of me or you've been seeing to me, let me allow myself to show you the full scope of who I am.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not just one single thing. And that's a lot of, and that's deeper than Bad Hilton versus Good Hilton, Plant Rants versus Plant Care videos. Like, that's a battle I've been fighting my entire life, trying to show the true, let's say, size of who I am. There's not just one version of me,
the
right?
Angel and the devil on your shoulders.
The angel, the devil, the comedian, the doofus, with all these things that come about. And I think those pieces all make me who I am, right? So I wanted to show that side. So I loved...
And the people who don't know where to find these rants.
You can find them on YouTube. You can find them on TikTok. You can find them on Instagram. Hey, look at you. Director of growth over here. That's why I have her. That's why I have her at Hilton Carter, of course. So yeah, I think a lot of what I wanted to share was I wanted to share this other side. And Mollie, I have to be honest with you, I was very bored with what I was seeing on social.
That's totally fair.
There's so many people who have made their way into this community. And I love the community of people who share about plants, but everyone, and you know this, has a want to talk about plants and plant care and the way they talk about it. Now, I will say each one can find their own lane to create that sort of content, but a lot of it was very monotonous and stale to me. Sure. And honestly, not just watching other people's content, but even watching my own. So I wanted to do a separate version or a side B, if you will, of that sort of gaze into the idea of what plant care is about and how you talk about.
Definitely. I think that's exactly what it is, because it's not even what you're saying, it's how you're saying it that makes it like entertaining and captivating and something people, want to watch, because in the end, we can all talk about, how to care for a snake plant, but, which one is someone going to choose to watch? For sure. Yeah.
For sure. I mean, you got to separate yourself in some sort of way. I don't know if Plant Rants were something that were going to separate me fully from anything else that is out there, but I will say the reason why at the end of the day I wanted to make Plant Rants and still will continue to make them is because it made me happy. That was a great break in my week, was going to hang out with my friend who also happens to be, I guess, on my team, to create this content. The small, whatever it is, 60 to 90 seconds that it ends up being in an edit takes about, an hour to shoot, but for sure. 20 minutes of that, I will say, is actually creating the content, like actual content. 40 minutes is just laughing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's just like the stuff that is being said and the things that I'm trying to say and hit a particular tone to say these things. That's where the humor is. It's like, how high should I raise my voice to say this thing?
Right. How high can we go?
How high can we go? How aggressive do I get? How fast can I say these words? And try to find things in pop culture that actually can make someone laugh, right?
Sure.
I mean,
and you feel that energy when you're watching the videos.
That's good to hear.
You're just having fun.
That's good to hear. I mean, that's it.
I think that's why people vibe with it so much too, is because you feel like you're there, like laughing with you or at you.
Or at me. Hey, look, I am fine with
You're the court jester.
being some. Hey, chill. Again, go fuck yourself. No. Look, if individuals, if someone out there wants to join in with a laugh with me, or laugh at me, I think that is the reason why we're creating the content. I'm putting it out there for you to have a reaction to it, whether you love it. Because I mean, I will say this: there has been more love for the Plant Rants than any other bit of content I have ever made.
Definitely.
Not that people don't love it, like, not that people don't love other things that I've made in the past. I'm just saying verbally, to my face, I have more people come up to me and say, your Plant Rants are amazing.
Yeah.
I love them. Continue to make them.
I think that's also because so many people in the plant world like share your thoughts and want these rants because they're like, yes, that is exactly how I feel. And like you're just saying it in this like really fun way that everyone's like, I relate to this so much. I personally feel that way.
What is one that you've related to the most that you can kind of, I would say, if not put my teeny beanie on, but if I was like, Mollie, let's set it up for you to rant, right? Because you know there was an episode where I wanted Ryan to rant. I made him the butt of the joke for so long. I wanted him to have a moment.
I saw that one. I loved that one.
I wanted him to have a moment to shine because there are, I mean, for me, and
that came from the heart. He spoke with his chest there.
I had to get him there. He doesn't have the acting chops as I do. You know what I mean? But
I don't think he's as bad as you are, Hilton. I think that's
you don't know my friend Ryan. This is you've known this man for 4 months.
I don't know. Ryan's never told me to go fuck myself.
So. I've known you longer than he has. Give him another year to know you. I'm sure.
I look forward to it.
But I wanted Ryan to express himself because in that rant, it's about this, and I guess the reason why I wrote that rant is because I've been called a plant influencer before. I've been called all these things that I hate, and I also share sometimes things that I know people struggle with.
Yeah.
I know when I say your plant needs bright indirect light, people are like, what the fuck are you talking about?
That?
What is it? Stop saying that. And I'll go, more bright indirect light. And there's something about it. I just love saying, I love saying that, and hopefully you'll find it. So of course, there's other content where I'll share what exactly that is. But I'm like, when I am ranting if the entire series is this individual who is this unknown character, he's always the first voice you hear in the actual episodes, or like in the rant. He is setting it all up. He is saying the thing that many people are asking.
That makes you go off.
That will make me go. That makes me go off. You're right. The thing that makes me go off.
That sounds like a general theme in your relationship to each other.
For sure.
Ryan says something, Hilton goes off. Ryan says something, Hilton goes off.
Well, I don't always go off. Calm down. But I wanted it to be something where I turned the shined light back on myself. All the things that I know that people probably question about me. I call myself, I never call myself a plant influencer, but I know that people are like, you're a plant influencer. What the fuck? You think you know all this stuff. You think you know all that. And I feel it, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted him to say those things. I wanted him to hit me with all the things that I find, like sometimes to be a fully functional adult, I think, is to be self-aware enough to know how you are seen in the world in some sort of, I guess, respects, but also the things that you lack, like where you lack. So I needed to write in that line about the small peen energy, because I know sometimes the Bad Hilton probably comes off that sort of way. Like I thought about it, I was like, man, this guy, he's wild. He's a wild character. He's small peen energy. And Ryan hit all those notes, and I'm sure, and not even that I'm sure, not that I'm sure because I'm just like, I'm sure. I know because people wrote comments like, get him. That's what I'm like, whoa, chill. I thought y'all liked me. I was like, maybe this should all be about y'all ranting about Bad Hilton. But that was one that I felt connected with a lot of people.
For sure.
And I had Ryan step into that role to rant. Back to my question. If you could step into a role to rant, into my teeny beanie, what would you rant about?
I have so many from the years of working at a plant shop.
Tell me your top three. You don't have to go
I feel
one.
like this is going to be pretty therapeutic for me too, as like Bad Mollie comes out, because in the retail space, in the end, I'm trying to sell them something.
Of course.
So I can't go off on them, you know? Like I'll keep it in and put that smile on my face and be like, that's a great question. Let me just explain. Like, here are your options. I think something that irked me a lot was when people had like a really specific space they want to put a plant that has to be specific dimensions and size. I'm like, you know that shit grows, right? Like it's gonna grow. It's a living thing. For like, I love that they thought of where they want to put something, but they just wanted something so specific. And it's like, I can't provide that for you because it might look like this now, but literally in a month, it might look totally different. It might be much bigger. It might lose a ton of leaves. It might grow in the direction of the light and give you like a weird bend. So much could happen. So I think when someone was just like, I just need it to be like, 6 inches tall and like 5.5 inches wide. And I'm like, okay, like I'll help you find that because I want to sell you a plant.
For sure.
But that's going to grow. It's a living thing. It's going to grow. It's going to get bigger. That's like how this thing works. It's a plant. You're not buying like a sculpture of a plant. It's going to grow.
For sure. For sure.
Sorry,
Someone get this lady a teeny beanie. Geez, I can tell you need some water. Come on, you good? You good?
I'm finding my center.
There we go. See, I think everyone has the bad version of themselves, right?
It's there. Oh, it's there.
You guys, if you're just listening, I saw a little bit of Bad Mollie there, which okay, I can jive with.
She exists.
I
need my own teeny beanie.
She needs her own teeny beanie. I will say this though, I like people who are shopping for plants with intentionality. They're trying to figure out exactly what is going to fit in their space. I talk about that in my book, Living Wild. So Mollie, I don't know. I probably would rant about people in plant shops like yourself who are not trying to provide individuals who are artists, who are trying to come in there. They understand the idea that a plant is going to grow. We're not dummies. We understand what is happening. We're just trying to be set up for success. Maybe some of you in the plant shops of America, of the world, let's say, because we have heard that this podcast is going worldwide, baby.
I know. Hey to my four listeners in Korea.
4 listeners in Korea.
안녕하세요. 고맙습니다.
What she said, y'all.
I said fuck Bad Hilton.
Not what she said, y'all. That's not even nice.
Korea's coming for you, man.
Shots fired. I'm coming for Korea. I'm trying to see what kind of soul you got. But I do think there is a place, honestly, for sharing some of the stuff that people don't want or are afraid to talk about.
Definitely.
Right? When it comes to plants. And I like to do that in a way that is kind of dressed up.
Yeah.
In a kind of comedic way. So that's where the plant rants come from. And I've enjoyed doing them. Haven't been able to make as many as we've had in the past. One, we moved out of the greenhouse. So that background that space that you were used to seeing me in, we're now no longer in. Also, one of the main characters, the only other person you were seeing every single episode, has moved out of state. Kiyosi, shout out to Lil Kiyosi. She's moved to Atlanta. So now we have to replace her. So we've been utilizing anyone who can find the way into the office at the time. So we're gonna keep making them. Of course, we got some ideas coming up. I just did one not so long ago, speaking of milk, about individuals putting giving their plants breast milk.
Yes. This came pretty organically too through your
It
broadcast
did.
channel.
I have a broadcast channel on IG that I just started, and what I love about the broadcast channel is
which
that
everyone should follow, subscribe,
join.
Hit the button to
hit the button
thing.
to just have me.
This is why I'm not social media manager. Hit the button to do the thing.
Yeah, hit the button, do the thing.
Beep boop beep.
You know, that's how things work. Hit the button, do the thing. Listen to me talk. Or have me have your DMs blow up, I guess, for me. I'm not sure how it works, but I believe you get a lot of messages once I start chatting in the broadcast channel. But what I love about the broadcast channel is the ability to create questions, get feedback, polls, things like that right there live.
Yeah.
So I asked individuals whether or not they wanted more plant rants or did you knows. Mm-hmm. And I was very shocked to see.
Because we kind of internally took bets on that before.
We took bets, and plant rants were everyone
we were
was like
obviously plant rants.
Everyone loves plant rants. But the people spoke and it was even somewhat. I will say, did you know it's a little bit higher than plant rants?
That's nuts.
Now, I'm a little confused. I'm like we're in this vehicle. What kind of vehicle are we in? Bad Hilton would be in a truck.
Cybertruck.
Cybertruck.
Bad Hilton would never be in a Cybertruck. That's like a dumpster on wheels, bro.
That's LDE right there, Cybertruck. Just saying.
But you know what I mean? If they were going to give me a Cybertruck to just drive around as Bad Hilton, I mean, why not? But let me just talk about this.
On that note, this podcast is sponsored by
this podcast is not sponsored by anything. But Plant Rants.
Yeah.
When you have an issue of someone talking weirdness about plants, shit on them instantly. Plant Rants. Nah, but I will say that the broadcast channel allowed me to reach out and say, hey, what do you want to see? It was even split. But then I was like, hey, if I'm gonna make more plant rants, what types of rants are you looking for? Sure. And so, I mean, there were some great ones. But the cream floats, right? The cream hit the top, and someone, speaking of cream,
literally.
Oh my goodness. Breast milk being utilized to fertilize your plants. Now, as I don't know, strange as I thought that was, when I put that out there, there were so many people who were like, yeah, that's a thing. People have been doing that. Yes, it's gross, but it's not the strangest thing I've heard. And people were like, someone wrote, this is like clickbait. I'm like, hey man, people are doing this. Real. People are doing this. So
I mean, I had something very similar happen at the shop where we offered repotting services. So if you bring your plant in, we'll repot it for you. Someone brought their plant in. I took it out of the pot to start repotting it. And I found like long, like pieces of like strands. And I was like, what is that? And she's like, oh, that's my hair.
What?
And she cut her hair and put it in the soil as like a protein source. I'm not really sure what the scientific reasoning for her.
You're lying.
I'm not lying. There was and I like touched it. I touched it and with my bare hands. So once she told me what it was, once I recognized this is human hair, I was like, do I go put gloves on? Is that rude? Like, it's just hair, but it's not my hair. It was just weird.
It is weird when hair is around and it's not yours.
Bunches of hair mixed with dirt. It was just not. It didn't feel sanitary.
Look, again, never yuck someone's yum. Again, do what is working for you.
No, if it works for you, go ahead. But I'm not touching that.
Again, we always talk about creating that bond with the things that you love in life. If you feel like you're adding your hair, your nails, your milk, will create that bond with you and your plant or help your plant in some sort of way.
Yeah.
I'm not here to tell you not to do it.
I've also heard lots of other bodily fluids people put in their plants.
I've heard about that one too.
I'm not going to go down the list, but people, I'm curious who told them that that's going to help their plant. Because I doubt they came up with it on their own, right? Like they're not like, hey, you know what? I'm going to try to like put this in there and see what happens.
How are most ideas when it comes to plants or in general life? How are those ideas handed down?
Right.
From one person to another, generation
like
to generation.
Someone did
right?
it once and was like, yo, this made all the difference for my plant. Like you should try it. And it just started from there.
For sure. For sure.
Ugh.
I mean, maybe I should start saving my beard hairs or the hair that just falls out of my head and put it in my plants.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Don't tell me about it. Don't have me interact with it, but go ahead.
But good Hilton is like, hey, you do you.
Yeah, you do you. I'm not
Bad Hilton is like, what are you, crazy? Come on now. Gross. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Bad Hilton, he's like, ugh. Of course, my dog walks in as soon as I say,
are we talking about hair?
Charlie is also gross. But yeah, so I think when it comes to having rants, for me, it's therapeutic.
Yeah. I mean, I just found the 2 little rants I just did quite therapeutic. And I'm a little red in the face right now. Like I am like worked up.
Yeah, it feels.
I think I needed to let that out.
Exactly, and we all need to let it out. So I think it's been fun for me to make.
Sure.
I'm happy to hear that it's fun for those in the audience to watch and also hear them. I guess. Yeah.
Tell me about your, like. Do you remember the first rant you did?
Yeah, the first rant was about orchids.
Oh, that was the OG?
The OG was orchids because that is putting ice on your orchids is something that...
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. That wasn't it. That's not OG. You know what? It is orchids, but the OG is...
dead orchid flower? Yeah.
Like a orchid that loses its flower...
Is dead.
Or flowers is a dead orchid.
Right.
And I had... seen and heard that so much because again we try to give people the understanding that when you're bringing a plant into your home, you're bringing in a living thing.
Definitely.
And to treat it like as such. But there's so many people who are purchasing plants just as decor for the moment. Definitely. Or just because they just understand that they just need a little bit of life, let's say, in a space. And they know, and they just have this idea of an orchid as the blooms.
Yeah.
As its flower. Like that's it. Like that's the orchid.
Yeah.
The orchid is its flower.
And
once that flower is gone, this plant is dead.
Right.
And it wasn't like I heard this from one person. They were like, yeah, I throw it away once the flower was gone. I had heard it so many times that, there's a point where you're like, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. That's just weird. That's weird. And then you're like, this is just hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, what is going on? Like, people are not so smart.
Yeah. I mean,
because you've done it?
No.
Oh, I thought you were about to say
I've actually never had an orchid. They just haven't been my thing.
I get that. And that's fine.
Yeah.
And I understand people had never had an orchid and then they get one and they're like, oh, well, these flowers are gone.
Right.
I'm going to toss it.
Yeah.
But that's not how it works. And I just wanted to express that idea that, hey, that's not how this is.
Yeah.
That orchid is not dead if it doesn't have a flower, and really put that energy into we need to look at plants as living things. There is a way to reproduce or to have more flowers bloom. You just got to put the work in.
Definitely.
Stop being lazy. And lazy, not as lazy in the idea that you're not caring for your plant in the moment. You're being lazy in the idea that you haven't decided to do the work before bringing the orchid into your house to understand what it needs to thrive and grow and to produce new blooms. So let's stop with it doesn't have blooms and now it must be trash. You just destroyed a living thing because it wasn't having the best hair day.
Yo, you mad?
Right? You just say what I'm saying? Like, that's
For those
how.
Who can't see, his hands are just like,
oh my.
Really gesticulating right there. Just all over.
That's how Bad Hilton comes to life, right? Like, but it's one of those things where I want to, again, you start sour and then I lean sweet and I just say, hey, look, these are the things that you should do. to help your orchid
Definitely.
rebloom. And I think
I don't think it's people like ignoring the fact that it's a living thing. I think it's just like unaware. You know, the way you can get an orchid is just you can get one at like, I don't know,
grocery store,
a grocery store.
for
Yeah.
sure.
So you're not really thinking about it like, oh, it's this living thing that's going to bloom and rebloom and I'm going to have to take care of
Yeah,
it.
but that's on you.
Yeah. But I
That's what I'm
think,
saying. It's for someone being lazy.
right. It's a mentality thing of like, oh, right. Like this is living. I need to take care of it. How do
For
I do
sure.
that? And asking those questions that I think Bad Hilton kind of like incites in people to ask themselves is like, oh, right. That orchid is not dead.
And at the same time, what I think the rants do is it shines back on most of us in the plant community.
Oh, 100%.
You know, because there's so many comments where, why are you talking to me? Or I feel seen. You know what I mean? Like I while there are many rants where I want to go in on someone for doing a thing,
Yeah.
I also want to participate in the craziness.
Right.
I just don't want to rant at people. I want to rant at the plant.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like off top, Calathea, fuck them.
I hate them.
You know, and that's Bad Hilton speaking. Good Hilton would say, you got to do what you have to do
I know.
to care for them. They're beautiful plants. Bad Hilton, they can go fuck themselves.
That's how I feel. I just noticed you don't have a single calathea.
I do. There's one right next to it. And it's fucking living its whatever life. That's a Setosa. It got bleached in the.
Yeah, why is it so?
It got bleached in the greenhouse.
It's not the right color.
I'm not even going to tell you to shut up. Because I don't have to.
Your Stromanth looks nice though.
Hey, I have two in the office, but yeah, I think people can when you can relate to something. Sure. That's when you're hitting the right spots. And I think for me, like plant rants are let me tell you what not only I've been hearing in the streets that is wild, but also the things that I know we all relate on, like, and we can agree. Fiddly figs be fiddling sometimes, man. Like
you're like the biggest proponent of fiddly figs. And I actually blame you specifically for my mental health.
She's like ranting right now. Jesus.
17, I think. 2018. Everyone came into my shop that I worked at, bought a fiddly fig, killed it within weeks, and then demanded a refund.
Oh, I thought you were going to say came back and asked to buy another.
No, I wish it was that. Then I'd be like, yes.
And you blamed it on me.
Yeah, because you and I guess interior design magazines kept placing fiddly figs in like dark corners, just like staging them for the photo.
Whoa.
And it ain't right. And so everyone
you've never seen a fiddly fig that I've ever posted in a dark corner. But I get what you're saying.
Right.
But I will also say this. I leave that in the hands of those selling said plant to individuals.
Yes.
Your job, not saying your job because you work with me now, but the job of individuals who are putting, and again, it's a lot, this could feel woo-woo.
Right.
But those of us who love plants, hear me when I say this. You are putting a life in someone else's hands.
Oh, definitely.
So if you're
there were plants I was attached to in the shop that I'm like, you're not a good fit.
For sure.
Like, I don't want to sell you that plant.
For sure. So the job of the person working in a plant shop is to set their customers up for success.
Oh, for sure.
So that the best way to do that, not is and I would hope if I was ever to have another plant shop and I worked in the plant shop, I would never want to have my customers come in, buy a plant, or just go, well, if they care for it in a good way, or if they kill it, and then hopefully they'll come back and buy another.
Definitely.
That's not how I see it.
No.
I see it, if you set someone up for success, it will encourage them to want to bring more plants 100%. In, and then that's how you have repeat business.
I will say, to refute that, we did do that at the shop. I think the only reason we closed is because we set up people for too much success. And now everyone's windowsills and houses look like this, just filled with plants, and they don't need another plant
They were
anymore.
like, we're done.
Everyone's like, oh, yo, I learned how to propagate a little leaf, and now I have 500 of these plants.
You learn how to propagate. Speaking of propagation, there is a book called The Propagation Handbook that comes out
like that.
April 9th. But yeah, I mean, look,
yeah,
I think I hear what you're saying. Yes. I hear what you're saying. You can rant about me and fiddle leaf figs or caring about a particular plant.
Bright indirect light, right? You'll tell people that and you're trying to explain, but then, you know, it means something different to everybody.
It does mean something. But yes, it does mean something. It's different. It could be something different to everyone, but at the same time, I can't be in everyone's home and guide them and tell them what is the best type of light for a particular plant in their home, right? So you have to. I can lead as far as I can, and then hopefully trust that they're going to be in the right hands at a plant shop, or just do more research once they start to create that indoor oasis for themselves.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, at the end of the day, I guess the one reason why I wanted to come onto this podcast as Bad Hilton, I wanted to tell people that.
What's your last word to the listeners? Bad Hilton. You need a minute to get into character.
No, I'm in character, but not really in character. I will say, look, it's the idea of creating Plant Rants. Started because I was having fun. I still do it because I'm having fun. Yeah. I love that people enjoy it and see the fun that is being had. Mm-hmm. And I hope that I can continue to share that side of myself in a way that is fun, smart, and at the same time educational for those out there. So,
because it's not just for the viewers, it's for you. Like you said, it's
for sure. I mean, that's the only reason for me to do any of this. Yeah. I create the stuff that I love and put it out there for others to participate in. If it ever gets to the point where it feels unnatural, it feels like it's work, I don't want to be a part of it.
Definitely.
And I feel like right now, a lot of the work that we've been putting together and putting out there, like this podcast, it just feels natural and it feels good. It feels good to sit here and have these discussions and talk about whatever it is that's on my mind and in my head when it comes to life. So more rants. And
God knows we have a lot more to share. I do personally. This just opened a whole can of worms.
Yeah, maybe you should. Maybe you should rant a little bit more. I know you talked about how you're on your meditation journey this year.
I did meditate again on my way here on the train, but I might need to do it again.
maybe these rants will help you with that. I hope they help. And look, and then for all you listeners, watchers out there, if leaning into a little rant now and then helps you get the point you need to make across,
let it out
and makes your spirit feel a bit better.
Definitely.
Let it out. Go for it.
Go off.
There it is. Thank you all for listening to another episode of Inside Hilton Said. Please do not forget to subscribe or follow the podcast. Leave whatever comments you want, a rating. But we'll be seeing you, listening, or I guess we won't be seeing you. You'll be seeing us, right? It's not how it works.
No. We'll chat again soon.
We'll chat again soon. That's a good way to end it.
There you go.
You know what? I take it back. Don't go fuck yourself.